2002. In that photograph there, you can see Paul Carson from the Park Service, and one of the early trail dedications of the Yadkin River Greenway. I'm on the left over there in period dress with a tri-cornered cap on. That really, basically, the history of the Greenway parallels a lot of the early work of the Over Mountain Victory National Historic Trail. And we recognized as a Greenway system very early on, by having the Over Mountain Victory Trail OVT be a partner to our grant projects and so forth, we would be much, much stronger. And there are a series of the Yadkin River Greenway from W. Carscott left down on the left side of the screen to Smoot Park down in the town of North Wilkesboro to the right part of the screen there where the mouse arrow is pointed. Today is the Yadkin River Greenway that, as you can see, not all the sections have been done, but they've been dependent upon where we can get volunteer easements, as all of our easements on the Yadkin River Greenway are volunteer. And, of course, today we've got some very beautiful sections that have been completed. We've got up to about 9.2 miles. Some of our tools of engagements have been the MOUs, and, of course, interagency agreements with the two towns across the Yadkin River working together and the county of Wilkesboro. And so interagency agreements have been a great tool, and I heard Doug basically really promoting that very much as well in the last in the presentation of Rutherford. Another tool that we use that's been greatly successful has been the letter of intent to obtain easements with the landowners along the Yadkin River Greenway. This has been a great tool for us. Briefly, I'd just like to touch on W. Carscott Lake's trail system. Actually, back in 2002, there was a IMBA trail building workshop. IMBA's International Mountain Bicycling Association. They descended at Carscott Reservoir with 25 volunteers. We built 1 mile of trail. But today, that system involves over 40 miles of trail built by local volunteers. A lot of this, there's a good portion of this trail is on the OVNHT as well. But to show what has been able to be achieved by volunteer work and coming out with the Pulaskis and with rakes and shovels and building trail that's led to some very good, very successful trail system. Moving on, another thing that we do tap into quite a bit up and down section of the from the Eastern Trailhead to Elkin all the way to Wilkesboro in trail building has been working with Corps volunteers, such as the Boy Scouts having National Public Lands Day and National Trails Day cleanups, partnering with other organizations and recognizing your total constituency there of trail users could include anything from runners, mountain bikers, you've got your equestrian group, you've got high school cross-country teams, etc. Also, we work with the river paddling community as well to enhance access points along the river, knowing that they are also, with the Blue Way system, are a potential partner for some of the projects. And, of course, I just listed all our partners that are right there with the Yadkin River Greenway from the Army Corps. We have another entity that's, just touch on this really briefly because Doug was talking about regional collaboration of a 4-county region there in northwest North Carolina, Wilkes, Surry, Caldwell, and Yadkin counties, working with a project known as the Yadkin Valley Heritage Corridor. And this is part of a Blue Ridge National Heritage Area initiative that was launched back in 2009. And what this really does is encourages the conservation of natural resources and the amenities that are made possible with the Yadkin River throughout that region. And, of course, trail promotion is a big part of that. Today, we actually have 39 trail systems, and we actually work together with this collaboration to develop a trail brochure, an online presence that's available down here. You can see goyadkinvalley.com if you want to take a look at the brochure. So it's just one thing that's possible working together with outside collaborations. Of course, Doug mentioned this, again, just reinforcing that community development, and that's a big part of what we do. And then, of course, lastly, I'm going to wrap up with just showing you a few shots of the OVTA. I'm also involved with the OVTA and have been since 1983. And by telling the story out to over 50,000 people annually, the OVTA over the 330 miles corridor has become a tremendously devout partner with the Park Service and helping them achieve everything from, as master plan development, to park interpretation goals for the Park Service. And that's what we do as an organization, is tell that story to school kids. Last year, an annual march to Kings Mountain, and latter September, early October, we reached about 18,000 students in the school system. And we're also connected with the National Trails System, Partnership for National Trails System, PNTS, which has a lot of benefits, and we're actively involved. They have an upcoming event in D.C., Hike the Hill, coming in February, and we're there showcasing some of the projects up and down the Over Mountain Victory Trail, and that's some of our folks there visiting one of the congressional offices in D.C. during Hike the Hill. So trail advocacy is something that we can be a part of, looking at a larger sense. You've got local participation, you've got regional participation, and you've got the national connectivity and participation, and all of it comes together to help build a better trail community. I like what Doug said, talking about opportunities to connect with other trails. For instance, the Mountains to Sea comes in and bisects the Over Mountain Victory Trail on the north end of the Yadkin area, which is the eastern trailhead of the OVNHT. So we're looking for opportunities to make those connections and to work with other trail groups.
Yeah, definitely, and co-locate trails. That's always an option as well. And I think Doug, pointed out some of the things we started with at the beginning with Ben of these collaborations can help the financial part of it, where you're sharing in the development of these plans financially. But certainly also helps broadly as far as the input for planning.